Where'd I come anyway?
10.
We're in the zone first.
Right, we are live from the shop, and everyone's chatting. I don't know if the microphone's working, so can somebody let us give us a thumbs up if you hear us, please. Picture looks good. Oh yeah, we've got a thumbs up for the sound. Right, guys, that's it. We're live. So the shop here with Tony and Gerald, and hiding in around the corners is Joe.
Yeah,
he's there winding up, pulling faces at them, making them laugh.
He's already got his bait for Saturday there, look. I reckon. What's that there? Look, Chris. Look at that, all ready for Saturday.
All ready for Saturday, yeah. Tie cards.
Just to let you know, we've got a match Saturday. We're going to keep the bait from tomorrow onwards. So I think if you're going to fish, try and get some bait, because there's not going to be nothing at the weekend. You might want to get some Wednesday or Thursday. I'll try and stash it away. It's 12:30 till 4:30.
12:30 to 4:30 Saturday.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Up the top of the road.
Oh, okay. Right.
There'll be too many. There'll be too many
down Langham Point.
Yeah. And it fished well at the weekend, didn't it? Actually, up at the top of the road.
It actually fished well today, really.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
See you later, Joe.
Yeah.
Take care, mate.
Yeah. Right. So let's start this off. Nobody's asking any questions at the moment, but
I'm sure I'm going to get some silly questions.
Oh, you will probably. I've actually been briefing people to wind you up, actually, but
no.
No. Hi, Gerald. I've been using 0.17 braid with 60-pound shock leader connected with an FG knot and had no problems. What are the advantages or disadvantages of using 60-pound braid straight through? That's from John Davis.
Well, there's no advantages, only when it's really rough and you've got weed, really. You really want to use the 24-pound braid with the 60-pound lead.
Right.
Without doubt.
It'd be just more if you targeted big fish and it's not long distance, you can use straight through.
Yeah,
braid.
you could.
It's more I would say more the pleasure angler than the match angler.
But you're gonna, if there's a lot of tide, you're gonna pick the tide up, so
Yeah.
you really don't want it. And something I have noticed with the braid now, when you first chuck it out, and this doesn't seem to happen with nylon, the rod bends like really round, but once it settles down on the bottom, then the rod comes back up again. It seems to bed itself down on the bottom more than nylon.
Okay.
It's just what, you really, when it first goes, it's doing the nodding action it does.
Yeah.
And then it seems to just bed in and it don't move as much.
Oh, right. Okay. That's an interesting point.
But there is that disadvantage with missing bites.
Yeah.
I missed a lot on the flood today.
What, on using monofill or using braid?
No, using braid, because the fish, I think they can feel it on certain conditions.
Right. Okay.
It is annoying.
Yeah. I mean, it's there's so many pros and cons and so many theories about why it's so good and why it's so bad. And
it's good because you're not even, to be honest, the more you use it, you actually almost know what fish would do know what fish.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas
we thought we sussed it by doing the drag, didn't we?
Yeah,
but it's not always. But it's a good thing if you get a.
If you've got tide and that, no problem at all. And if it's a little, but if it's really clear and calm, maybe. I'm not sure. We have the assumption that you've had a bite with braid, whereas you don't with nylon. So you might miss it and not know you missed it.
Yeah. Yeah, and also because you're not seeing all the little tiny rattles with monofill, it could be that the fish have a longer time to actually get hooked.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, whereas with braid, you're striking into the first bite.
But you've got other advantages because you can virtually tell when you've got 2 or 3 bites on there.
Yeah.
So you don't leave it too long.
Yeah. Yeah.
As other opposed to you wouldn't know you had them on there.
Yeah.
Leave it quarter of an hour, reel it in with 3 bites and
Yeah, I mean, I've used 60-pound. Going back to the original question, I've used 60-pound braid through, and the only advantage is when it's a lot of weed, there's no leader knot.
That's it. Yeah.
That's the only advantage I've ever seen.
You're probably better off having 2 rods with the same setup.
Yeah.
And reel the one in with the reed, put it down, and cast the other one out.
Yeah.
And then take your weed off.
Yeah.
And
I think it's quite efficient, but you lose distance, I'm sure.
Yeah.
What you're looking at is when you look at this 60-pound braid, it's only like about 20-pound line.
Yeah,
it's
fine,
still a
isn't
good
it?
bit of stuff.
I think it's 0.39, isn't
Yeah,
it?
something like that. So it's
Yeah,
pretty,
it's a little bit more than.
about 17 pound braid spray.
Well,
18
no, it's
pound.
about 20.
It's 20, yeah.
on it, yeah.
So it's, you know,
Yeah.
it's feasible. I think up north they use a lot more straight through than us because
Yeah.
But it'd be even worse.
most of our
with that.
ground is clean.
direct-
You know?
Yeah. Right. Well, we've got a few comments here. Somebody, Eon Murray says it looks like you look like the cast from Cocoon.
Me or him?
Gerald, what's your most memorable fish?
That 17-pound cod I caught at Langley Point
Really?
about 4 years ago without doubt. Because I just didn't expect it.
Yeah.
It would have, I reckon it probably would have weighed between 25 and 30 if it was in good condition.
Right.
It was in a nomad's match. And there was 2 or 3 small ones caught.
Yeah.
Like Paul Christopher had about 3. And I went back. Someone actually said to Ian, Paul's going to need a bigger bucket. He said, Gerald's going to need a bigger car. the cod, you just cannot.
It was
believe
all head.
Yes.
it was. It's
And,
no,
I
I
think
caught
tadpole.
one
I think they
a
come
few
in
weeks before
because
that
they
was
can't.
50, but
Yeah.
if you look at the one up there, it's all just a lovely fish. Gerald's was, it would have been about 25 because it's got this massive head
Yeah.
and then a little
skinny
tail.
Yeah.
You got it on your car, didn't you?
Yeah,
Oh, I
I've
suppose
got
you
it,
can't
yeah.
really don't
Yeah.
people see in your car. This he had it put on his
I have got it
on his
card.
bank
Yeah.
card
All right.
picture.
On your bank card.
Yeah, on his credit card, isn't it?
Yeah, because you can have pictures what you
Yeah.
want.
Alan Harding says, Gerald, you're awesome.
I'm
right.
frightened to smile because I have one of my people.
Alan Harding says he wonders if Tony remembers his brother falling over in his shop.
Oh,
Yes, I do.
yes, we do. We've all
do.
heard about
We were
this.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, it
He had a
wasn't
funny
very
turn,
good.
didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
But Tony still managed to sell him something while he
Yeah,
was
that's
waiting for
not
the
real.
ambulance.
Terrible.
Wait for the ambulance, and by the way, do you want to buy a rod?
Well, he said, I feel like I should buy something after all this.
Yeah.
And he said, Tony said no. And he went, oh,
It's the same one. I'm sure it is. And all the rods crescendoed down, and they all fell over. And we had about 80 dream casts at the time, and they just all went over like a big domino pack. Oh my God, you know, when we broke. Anyway, I sold them all, and not one of them. I think we had about 5 of them dream casts break.
Yeah.
3 car doors and 2 just loads of weed and stuff.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I should have brought them in again because they're a
Yeah.
lovely rod for the money. We got the new dream cars.
Most
coming
of the
in,
time when
lovely
they break is when people do that snatchy
Yeah,
cast.
snatching cars.
And they don't load the rod up. They're just
Yeah.
loading the tip.
Yeah, you've got to let it develop.
Well, yeah, exactly that. Yeah.
Right. Tony, do you keep in touch with Liam Dale?
I did. Had a call with him. He wanted to promote my book, and it went a bit pear-shaped because he's in Thailand now, I believe. And I didn't do it, and he didn't get the up about it. But in the end, I got it published myself, like, you know.
I don't
But
video
it was,
Liam.
Yeah.
It was all right, Liam. Still, the old videos are still there. I think he lives in Thailand now. Well, I'm nearly sure he does.
Yeah, I mean, we had long conversations
Still
with
keeping
Liam when we
right.
set
You had
this
a
up.
conversation
Yeah.
with him, didn't you, and everything.
When we were setting up the channel,
Yeah.
so picked his brain on how to do it. What's the best way to do it? As you say, he's in Thailand now. I don't know what he's fishing for there.
Arab Palms, I suspect.
I was thinking something else, but we're moving on. Hi Tony buddy, hi CJ buddy, hi Shane buddy, lots of people saying hi. Right. What feedback are you getting off the new Pen Tidal XT reel? So you getting any comments about it? That's from Paul Thompson.
Absolutely brilliant. We sold out, and we've got some more coming in a week. But we've been selling the black one because I think it looks much better on the rod. Me and you have both got a black one, haven't we, Chris? Black one's called Advantage. But it's just awesome. You can go from the bottom of the beach and be 70 yards out of the beach plus whatever you've cast out, and it's still full.
Yeah.
Because the line lay is so good.
Yeah.
It's still full up. It's a marvellous reel, and it's so light. I mean, see, look, it just don't weigh anything. and you get about 25 turns. But the main thing, which I haven't said to everyone, I have tried to, but Peter Ayres told me this, I didn't know. It's got this auto lock. So when you go over there, it don't move.
Yeah.
Now the Shimano equivalent moves.
Yeah.
They kind of copied the Shimano a little bit. This won't move. So it's not going to come banging over and, you know, mid-cast and just crack off, you know.
Yeah.
But they're lovely. This one was for the carp lads, really. But it's exactly the same. It looks smarter because it's black. It's called Advantage. Obviously, the Tidal always outsell it because the Tidal's the name.
Right.
But when we run out, we sold about 9 of these, and I've got one of these. And I think this silver one looks better in the shop. You look at the two. But I'll tell you now, when you get it on a rod, this one looks $1 million black. Because I see these on the rod, Dan Wood and Paul Parsons, and they look like a cheap reel. In here, great, but this one looks smarter on rod. But it is more money. But we've been doing it around about the same price to keep things moving.
Right.
But 7th of February, we've got the which is next week. We've got the Tidals back in, and it's a choice of what you like. Someone said to me, "Oh, that's a carp reel." It's not. It's exactly the same reel. The bearings are the same.
Yeah.
Just got to watch out. You don't want to rattle on a lot, but you don't want to buy the Tidal one, because it's got no spool. It's only minimal cheaper, and you've got to be careful here because this one has got no spare spool. So you've got to buy a spare spool.
Yeah.
You've got to get the XT. And that's important. I don't know why they brought this out. I think they'll discount it a month and it'll be right down lower. But at the moment, it's 10 quid cheaper with no
Tidal XT.
You've got to get the Tidal XT or the Vantage XT.
Right.
The normal ones, Vantage and Tidal, they should be 30 quid cheaper in my eyes.
Yeah.
But they're only 10 quid cheaper with no spool and 3 less ball bearings, which is most important. Why would you want that cheaper reel?
Yeah.
Unless it was 130 or something, you know. Anyway, sorry.
No.
David Checksfield, and we're still talking about Braid here. Guy next to him today was using Braid, and he said the bites were unbelievable. Mine were tiny on my mono. Shame you can't use it on a multiplier. I use Braid on a multiplier. Yeah. And I haven't had any issues with it.
Well, no, I don't think you can.
Well, I do.
I mean, you know, I know we use fixed ball now, but we were multiplier. It's only since we got a bit older that it makes life a little bit easier.
When you get someone like, no disrespect to Joe, he wouldn't dream of putting Braid on.
No, and I can understand it. I mean, I'm not blasting it like Joe.
Like he does.
I was talking with someone
So
today.
you've got to dig in and you've had, sorry.
I was talking with someone today. They said about the rod slipping out when you cast.
Yeah.
But if that happens with a multiplier, you crack off, and that's the end of it. But with a fixed ball, you can just about hang on to your rod, and it still carries on going out.
Yeah.
You don't lose your gear. It's much. And when the whitings are there, it's a lot. You can get it in. You don't want to plane them up, really. I know that several anglers do, but I don't.
Yeah, I don't. And that's the only other problem. It's got one problem. It's a little bit fast. I've now learned to reel slower.
Yeah, really.
At first, I was coming across the top, which some people like to do. I think it spins them off.
There's a happy medium with it because Bimbo Perrott, who was a top angler, or you know, but now he's older than us. But they used to say when he reeled in, he trawled the bottom, and he used to always catch snags all the time. He was sort of renowned.
That's
for
what
it.
Mark Rollible does. Mark reels in so slow. He levels
and
everything
if
on
there's
the rod,
anything there, you're going to find it.
You know, there's so many of them tank traps down there point, and they're 40 yards out. You up by them, you're not getting it off. I've seen him lose quite a bit of gear. And the worst thing is you lose the fish as well.
Yeah, but I mean, if I was watching Joe at the weekend, and it's on the video that I put out last night, and he drags it along the bottom. It's very slow retrieve, very slow, and he points his rod at it as well. He doesn't use the bended rod at all.
It's because of the getting the level lay really right. Because if you don't get it quite right, then you're going to get a crack off, aren't you?
Yeah.
So they're especially the big casters are very. Brett Green's the same. He reels in one. But it's the same thing there. It's ingrained in them to get the line laid on really nice that.
Right. Okay. So this is Fishing Dorset Live to Gerald. What was your first ever rod?
It was a cod 5 from Tony, actually.
Right.
When I used to do a lot of beach fishing in the early days with the hollow glass rods and that. Well, with hand lines to start with, winding it around your end. Several people would say I probably should still do that now. But yeah, and I sort of, as you do when you're 18, 19, 20, all you want to do is go down the pub, so I didn't. And then Tony one day, I met him in the pub and that, he said, why don't you get a team together? And I went, well, you ain't even got any fishing gear and that now, and that proper gear. So I come in here and bought a cod 5 off of Tony.
Mm. So who made the cod 5 then?
It was Coniflex, wasn't it?
Coniflex cod 5, right?
Yeah, it was a Coniflex bang.
Yeah.
It was only 50 quid, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it had lovely orange whipping and that. It was quite a
good rod.
A standout rod, and it cast quite well.
Mm.
You know, I remember when I first started, I had this young lad next to me with his girlfriend, and that was Colin Crosby. He was only 16 or 17, and his girlfriend, which was his wife after, in the end, was, you know, but he was a good angler even then. And now he's 50 odd now.
Yeah.
In the Dick Penny matches, that was when Dick Penny used to run the matches.
Right, Graham Watson says, seen on the website you have the Dreamcast 3 as package, or considering Akios Fury 435 suggestions, please. I think the website might be a bit out of date with the Dreamcast 3.
Yeah, the Dreamcast 3's gone now. I sold them all. I went to order some more, and everything comes from China, and they ordered the wrong rod, and so we stitched it, and we're working on the 4, which is going to be a lot more money. Quite expensive, the Dreamcast 4, and we're working on that. It's good. Well, I've got a prototype I was using today, and I use it. It's brilliant. I just want to just get it right. It's fine.
This will be the Mac 4 when
This will be the one, but that'll be expensive. But that 435, if you get the power tip with it, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah,
it's my biggest selling rod now, the Fury power tip. With the 2 tips together, you got one for the winter, one for the summer.
Yeah.
If you're quite tall, I'd go for a 450. 450 because it's slightly longer, and you will cast further. You know, if you're not too short, you know. If you're like, mate, you know, if you're going to overhead it, if you're tall and you get it in the javelin position, it'll go a little bit further than the longer rod. So either of them, but we do a good deal on them anyway. Because Simon Brackels, we're massive main dealer of the Giants.
Yeah, I think basically with that overhead cart, you do need to be taller. That's
Yeah, it makes sense,
why
doesn't it?
I have to pull mine round.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of people, you know, people who are really tall, Paul King,
But they've got long
Brett
arms.
Brett's tall, isn't he?
you know, because they can get into that javelin position so much easier. It's like they're standing on a box.
Yeah.
I think you'd fall over. I know full well if you had a box that you could put in front of you, get down. And what I do, I told you, look for dips.
Yeah.
I'll get it down a dip, it'll go 20 yards further.
Yeah.
Tony used to laugh at me on the pier.
Yeah.
Because the railing's too high for me and I can't get it over.
He struggles on the pier.
I do struggle on the pier. He said, put it, I can't. You need to be taller.
It's lovely sometimes to be a little bit tall, you dip it down. It goes miles, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Dip it down the side of the pier and whack it.
Right, M says double denim, he scrubs up well. That's to you, Gerald, I think. Blinky One says the audio is terrible. Blinky One, I don't know what I can do anymore. Short of putting a microphone under everyone's noses, which I'm not going to be doing. So Gerald, how long have you been match fishing? That's Michael Milgate asking that question.
When we first started the league fishing, wasn't it? It was probably 40 years ago. Yeah. I've had some notable results. I won the Deal British Championship in 1992. And a lot of other ones, but that was the one that I was sort of more pleased with winning.
Yeah.
And we used to air team, me, Tony, know who was probably, apart from Paul Kerry,
Yeah,
was
he never-
one of the first cast.
It's a strange thing. He didn't fish as many opens. He was a magic angler. But sometimes to win the opens, you need a bit of luck. And I was a bit lucky because I took an 11-year break. Gerald was lucky. Some other anglers in our circle that are really good, they've never won an open. Well, they've won out, but never won any significant. It's incredible. You think, surely you must, but you do need a bit of luck on your side, because winning in second is so close. And if it's your day, you'll win. Next day, you'll have 4 seconds, and it's 3 big opens down the pan. But you do find the real top, you know, like Darren Bond and Saul Page, and that they do win more opens because they're just dedicated. Different grade, you know. So, Tony Carey, you know, they're just dedicated to it. I mean, like we were when we were young. You know, we're older now, and I don't think they realise that. It's sort of like I think we're still 50 or 40.
It's like putting Wayne Rooney back in the Premiership.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. We should be handicapped, me and Gerald.
No,
we are
they should be,
handicapped. Way we fish.
Right. Ian Murray says to David Checkfield, we're talking about braid on micropliers. He said he watched Billy fishing. He uses 4-strand braid all the time on microplier reels. I mean, it's not. It's a comment. Yeah.
It's your knots you've got to be careful of with the braid.
Yeah.
When you tie your clip on, what you clip your rig on to, don't do an ordinary.
I had it today.
Tony's had it, and I was told straight away you've got to do a loop, a twisted loop, and that doesn't slip.
Yeah.
But I was casting, and you go like that, and the lead laying on the ground.
Did it? Yeah. Did it today, didn't I?
Yeah.
I mean, I use Palomar
knots. It costs you money because one of that, and you've got to change your thing over.
Palomar knot?
Palomar's knots where you fold the line double, you thread it through, you do an overhand knot, and then you loop the end of the overhand knot over your swivel or whatever.
Palomar knot's the best to do, but Gerald does the same, but you don't.
Well, I do the twisted loop and then push the loop through and over the clip and pull it.
Yeah, similar.
So that you've got like a double.
Yeah.
And because if you've got a single, it could go through the gap on him clip.
Yeah.
I used to use it with a swivel, but it's a lot. It's another thing you're trying to cast out there.
I go up 6, down 6, blood knot, it slips. Believe me, I lost. I did it 3 weeks ago, and today it snapped, and it left the weight on the ground. It's just the force of it. It's all direct.
Yeah.
Absolutely hopeless. And I said to him, I've done it again. What am I doing? You know, just.
Without a doubt, using nylon leader, you do get the so-called wind knot, but it's not a wind knot. It's where the nylon stretches, it causes a bit of jump and it wraps around the rod or something, and it causes the so-called wind knot. And obviously with a braid, it's much more direct. It's much better when you cast. When you
also can slip outside of that link that you really need swivel and a link clip.
Well, no, if you do that where you push the loop through, you've got like 2. It goes round twice. The loop goes through, so you've got like 2 strands, and it doesn't come out then.
That knot I do, it slip outside.
Yeah,
because they're not always. Or you shouldn't really get.
If you've just got a single one, you can.
Well, I use the Trident bait clips, and there isn't anything to come outside of that. It goes through the plastic, and it's on the plastic.
I like it. I did used to use it with swivels, but I found now, and sometimes I might press the loop on the Gemini clip tighter with a pair of pliers. But it doesn't seem to come out with the loop knot.
Right, Sam Squatch Outdoors. I've been using 13-pound Fox Exocet main line, which is a carp line, but my pals keep telling me I should use 18-pound sea fishing line, and are they right? I've been landing fish and haven't had any break-offs.
Depends on the ground you're fishing, really.
You probably get away with it on clean ground. You've got a little bit more rougher ground, like Langley Point. You want 18 but 0.35, so an 18 that's 15 diameter. I was thinking, I said the other week, all over the world they don't buy by the.
They go by the diameter.
They go in there, look at all the diameters.
On the braid, you want 0.1, which is 24 pounds. And that is the other thing. When you go back to using nylon again, you can't believe how easy it breaks compared with the braid.
Mm. Yeah.
Braid's ever so strong.
It is unbelievable. I've been on that pier and pulled 6 gearing.
Yeah.
And you know,
Yeah.
it works on a pier as well, really well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm nervous about using strong braid out on a boat, because if you ever got into a snag, if you let it wrap around your fingers, it will take your fingers off. Yeah, take your fingers off.
Yeah. Especially if you're drifting. I mean,
Must have a finger store as well. If you're or a cannon.
Yeah.
I've seen Harry Saint nearly cut his finger off.
Yeah.
It's just like cheese wire.
I don't know how you don't get on with the cannon, but I love it.
I can.
I've tried what I have heard some of the bigger casters said they go around the cannon twice.
That's what
I've tried that. That don't seem to work. No, I haven't.
People said that to me.
I don't see the point of it. Because
No.
as long as your spool's done up, it can't slip.
I don't know. They say it slips.
It depends on where you have the cannon.
Cannon's got to be mounted correctly, so it's at 90 degrees to the spool.
Yeah.
Because if it's not 90 degrees to the spool, it is going to come off.
Well, not only that, it's got to be as far forward as you can get.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, I mean, Brett said that he always wraps it twice, and he is a mega caster.
Yeah. And they're casting 7 ounces and all that.
Yeah. But again, it can't slip if it's 90 degrees to the spool unless the spool isn't tight enough. That's the only time it can slip, because it's off the side of the spool, so it's going nowhere, is it? But anyway,
I found by having it as far forward as you can possibly have it.
Yeah.
So virtually the cannon's almost where the base of the spool is.
Yeah. Right, David B. Good evening, gentlemen. Braid. Do you not worry that it could possibly cut into the rod eyes and damage them?
It does. Yeah. On the fixed ball, if the bearing, if you don't agree, you should spray them all the time, because the bearing stops moving.
Yeah.
And once that bearing stops moving, it does put a groove in it. There's no doubt.
On the roller on the bail arm.
Yes.
It does.
But what about the eyes on the rod?
No, it doesn't on the rod. No.
But you must check your rings, because sometimes if you find it breaking, you don't even notice it. It might be a little nick in that ring.
Oh yeah.
It will cut through.
If you find that your line's cutting, don't think it's something. It's always a broken eye.
Cracked
you
eye.
Just got to get your finger and a bright light, and you can actually find it in the end. Tony said, "I think there's something wrong with the reel." I said, "Tony, you thought it was the bail arm."
And I couldn't get more than about 60 yards. Well, I can't get more than 60 yards anyway.
I
couldn't get anywhere out. It just kept going out and stopping.
I
had a broken eye. I found it at the end.
Yeah.
Disastrous match that was. I couldn't fathom out
when
what
it's
was
a little
going
hair
on.
crack, you can't see
I thought it was a roller on me reel.
Yeah.
You know, on the my old reel.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. It was a ring. I didn't notice it, did I?
Yeah, and it will. I mean, it will cut through braid like.
You do need to unscrew where that bearing is on the bail and take it out, clean it, and that. There is a little washer in there, and if I can't get it to go, I do take that little washer out. Whether that's a good idea or not, I don't know, but it seems to free the bearing up a bit more.
Right, the sound is good. Are you using the new mic? See, I've got one person saying the sound is terrible and someone says it's good. I like you, Stevie B. I don't like the bloke who said the sound was bad. We are using new mics. Yeah, we've got a pair of condenser mics out on a boom. Hi, Gerald, Tony, and myself. Okay, there was one question. What is your Dreamcast Mac 4? What style of cast is it designed for? Overhead.
It's 15'4", and a lot of the rods. There's a few rods around like an XT Sonic, and they say 15'4" on them. They're not. They're 15 foot.
Yeah.
This is actually 15'4".
Right.
It's got a cracking finish on it.
Mm.
The one I'm using is a bit leery, but
Mm.
we've got that all under control. But we're really trying to get. This is going to be my last rod. I've done a lot of rods, and I think this would be the creme de la creme. But I want it right, so we're taking a little bit more time. We reckon April, but it's better to get it right than wrong.
No,
and I really want to get this one right, because this is a proper go-to match rod. And also, you'll find it will work because it's quite forgiving, even though it's a stronger rod. it's still quite forgiving. And you're going to have one very fine tip for summer, general fishing, and then you're going to have a tip that's a bit stronger for the winter, or if you want to do a bit of bassing or something, you know, around the rocks.
Right.
But looking forward to it. I can't wait. But it's frustrating because we're taking very small deposits, 50 quids, and I'd love to take more, but I'm not going to until I actually get them. I've had this prototype now for 2 months. And I'm still playing, getting it right. It's almost there now. We'll be all right.
Also, as well, with this, you know, people that are learning fishing, they would do very well to come and fish like the Nomad competitions and that, because you learn so much from people. The match anglers are very helpful.
But everyone who's come along, we've tried our hardest to look after them, and they come back. We're getting it well. I mean, we had 37, I think, on Sunday. Yeah. I just put a match up for Saturday. It's filling up, bang, you know.
And you can, they actually inject a lot into the competitions as well. You know, even though some of them are not match anglers as such to start with, they soon start learning and
makes a better angler, doesn't it?
And it makes it's better for it makes it more enjoyable for us because you meet people that you can talk to, and you how diverse a lot of people are.
On Sunday, I don't know if you know, but Joe, Andy Baker just picked him. He was on a really good peg 18. But Joe was outside the angling club, which was equally as good. But he caught all them fish at 30 yards. I mean, he can cast further than most people around here. And he caught all them fish at 30 yards. And so it's not just cast. It really works casting sometimes, but other days they just smash it by just fishing, you know.
It's nice to have the range in your skills, though, isn't it? You cast a long way and you can cast short distance. If you can only cast short distance, you can only cast short distance. So, and that leads on to a couple of questions here about it's the rod that you use, Gerald. What's the best type of cast to get the best out of the Gravity HT, and what kind of distance do you get?
I don't think it matters either way.
I swing it.
I chuck mine sideways, which is a sort of a pendulum cast, but it's not, and pull it round. Whereas my West, he can pendulum cast it, and he chucks a 6 ounce with it, and he's 30 yards, 40 yards past me. When he gets it right, it doesn't go very often, so it's a bit haphazard, but it can. It does, and it. You know, I thought he said, "Can I borrow yours?" I said, "No, not the 6 ounce. You're not borrowing it, breaking it." But he's had it 3 or 4 years now, and he's not broken it or nothing. It's the same thing. Nice smooth cast and coming all the way round. Load the whole rod up, and they don't break. All the ones that are broken have been these carp type casts.
Snatchy.
You'd be okay. You'd be okay with my rod. It comes out swinging it. It's a bit of a handful to cast 15 foot 4. Full pendulum. I wouldn't.
You know, you're going to get. When we used to do the tournament casting, I had zip lexes that, but to start we had AWB, and they were we were getting 230 with them and that on a tournament field, but they were capable of doing 260, 280, the one Paul Kerry designed. But that Gravity would be capable of them sort of distances without a doubt. With the right hand, Brett Green could probably chuck that 250 plus without a
doubt. So what sort of distance do you get with your rod, you reckon, Gerald, nowadays?
We don't cast it like we used to, because I used to cast proper pendulum cast, albeit I used to hit the ground when I come round a bit. But I don't know. When we went on a field, and Tony's done the same, we went with Neil McCullough and that, and with 3 hooks and bait, we were getting about 160,
170.
3
baits.
With 3 baits.
We was doing team practice.
So I think you're probably. I should imagine now you're getting 130 plus without a doubt.
You know. Conditions, though, you know, like we fished on Sunday, and it was going okay, but not fantastic. No. Today it was going miles, wasn't it?
When the wind's behind you,
just that wind dropped today, and it was just going miles. Couldn't believe how far.
I don't think people appreciate how far 200 yards is. When you go down a tournament field and someone goes to stand at 200 yards, you think, can't be. It's a long way.
Yeah, I think a lot of people say I'm casting 150 yards, probably
Yeah.
casting
We
half
struggled.
that.
When we first
Yeah.
started, we used to go down the field every night, me and Tony.
When we
and
put that post out, we were
Yeah.
horrified.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
in the end, I got up 235.
it was
Gerald got up
180,
230.
185. You could hit that quite comfortably. But getting over that,
Yeah.
getting over that 200 yards,
Yeah.
it was unbelievable.
I think 180 is, I hate to say this, but a little bit of practice is quite simple, 170.
Yeah,
But
that's it,
getting
yeah.
that other,
That bit
It's
more.
just-
To get over the 200,
and it's all about,
220.
which Neil taught me, Andy and Todd, it's all
Yeah.
about the left arm.
Mm.
Yeah.
You get the left arm going, that's how you get the extra 30, 40 yards. And lots of people, they're hitting it like mad with this arm. This is just going like that.
Yeah.
You've got to pull that. As I say, Neil used to pull it right into his chest,
Yeah.
and he'd hit it, and it was
A good big
marvellous.
one's always going to
Magic
be
to
better than a
watch,
good
you know.
little one.
Really
No
good.
doubt.
And that's what it's all about.
And Neil was a big bloke.
Yeah.
And I was fishing next to Neil Kellen. I think it was the first one to do over 300 yards. And when he used to beach fish, he used to cast left-handed.
Yeah.
On the tournament field, he used to cast right-handed.
Oh, right.
And he told me on a tournament field, if there was a bump in the grass, it would have hit it. When he come round, he used to tip the grass as he come round with the leg.
Yeah.
That's how low he used to
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
low
Yeah, that was
down.
one of our mistakes, wasn't it? We used
Yeah.
to come round.
But that Neil
Too high.
Kellen's a big.
We never
and-
dipped the rod enough.
We were at Hastings. We used to do quite a few matches at Hastings. And Jason Carter, not the Eastbourne Jason Carter, but he's got arms bigger than our legs, and
He's 300 yards,
he's
man,
300
yeah.
yards plus.
Yeah.
And he said one day to one of them, "I'm going to put one hook on, watch it, and it will go out and it will disappear." And they said they watched it, went out and out, and it disappeared.
Mm.
You couldn't see it land; it just disappeared.
Mm.
But he's a big guy. He's got arms.
M says he fished next to Tony and Gerald today. They are both a class act, and I was given schooling. Although Tony said Gerald is luckier. Oh.
He had a 38 centimetre bass and a pound and a half sole.
But ain't
But
what
he
in the,
done well.
in
He
the
was
last
gonna
10
go
minutes,
home,
wasn't it?
He
I was
beat me.
getting a bit
He was going to go home. He
Yeah.
had nothing.
Yeah.
And he caught these monster fish and then another one at 30 whiting.
That sole probably went
Destroyed
£4, £5. And I had a bass and a 30 centimetre whiting in one go.
So
That's
it
good,
just,
though.
it
I
just
didn't
goes
catch
to
nothing
show.
for 3 hours and caught all my fish in an hour.
Right. Hello, Grandad, from Liliana, Alfie, and Ashton, and from Ricky and Kirst.
So what you did?
Yeah.
So the audio suddenly got better. It might be because I twiddled a knob, but
I was saying to my wife before I come out with the little tooth I've lost, I said I'll have to talk to you.
Dummy. Look, Charles.
what was the highlight of Tony's career?
You've never said what
World
was
Carp
wrong.
Championship without
Yeah.
a doubt with McKinson, and the week after winning the Gambia.
Right.
I
And
think
it was that much.
yeah, France
right,
was
right.
good. Dunkirk was 350 people.
Yeah.
But when I won the World Carp Championship with Mick Hinson, took 11-year break from match fishing. I got on the plane and Alan Yates kept saying to my wife, "Look at him, look at him, look at him." And I didn't know what he was on about. And he said, "No one's going to beat him." I was just on this big high because we won 10 grand. And apparently he kept saying to my wife, "No one's going to beat him. Look at him, look at him."
Yeah.
And not being big-headed or anything, but I fished so well and I won it. But I always say this and people think you're mad, but fishing's confidence.
Yeah.
And if you're confident, like we were in the old days, you'll win anything. But you go down there with a negative attitude and it just don't happen.
There
you
is some very good anglers now and very good casters, big young lads.
Yeah.
I had Darren Bond one side and this other angler, and I said to Darren, "How far does he cast?" He said, "About 280 metres." I went, and I've got one either side of me.
Yeah.
But I fished with Alan Yates, and without doubt, Alan Yates, it was unbelievable.
Mm.
It wasn't a particularly big caster, but he just caught fish.
He'd also get a when you went there, you think, "Oh, God, I
He'd
don't
demoralised,
want to be
wouldn't
next to Alan Yates." So somehow you'd shift away as far as you could, and the other bloke the other way, so you get a big area because everyone would. I don't want to be next to Alan
One
Yates.
day
So
we
you
had,
kind of shift away 10 yards, and you
Yeah.
get a great big bit in the middle, and you're like over here, they're hiding. He
one-
was
one
phenomenal.
match one day, it was a league match, and we got the odd little codling. He got 3 in one go. Then, you know, pulled 3 in. You sort of, it was just something. And his brother Peter, he fished in our team and all,
Peter was
didn't
good,
he?
yeah.
And his brother was very good as well. But Alan was,
He's the master.
he
Alan
was the one.
brilliant. And again, he could talk you out of things if you're not careful.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was very good at.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll do this. And
He mentored Steve Allmark without doubt.
Yeah.
Steve Allmark was very good at it. And a very nice bloke as well, to be honest. He won the biggest open we ever done here. Tony put £2,000 up one year, and he won that, didn't he?
Yeah.
Steve Allmark.
I
But
said,
the
talking
other
about.
thing is with that.
He used to have the shop on Dill Pier, didn't he?
Oh right, okay.
Yeah.
When I went to Gambia as well, because I went about 8 times and done ever so well over there. But when you're rubbing, another thing that happens, if you're rubbing shoulders with the best, it rubs off.
Mm.
And I used to be there with Richard Yates, Alan Yates, Dave Morale, and they're all good. And we sit there together and go, look, these butterfish keep biting through. So we made this little thing up, and then we put cocktail sticks through the prawns. That was someone's idea, and everything was perfect. So when you go there, you know you're doing the right thing because you're with the best of you are doing the right thing. A bit like they do now. They got secrets over there. They don't share them.
It helped
because
not
they
to be
know,
selfish.
and you can't odds that. We did it. We had a little something secret, wouldn't we?
Yeah, me and Tony, we worked out that instead of antagonising each other, we're better off.
Yeah, we've done
helping.
much. Once we fished
The other
together,
week-
we've done both the stuff out.
We was in that at Christmas, weren't we?
Yeah.
And I said to Tony, them little sandals you've got, and Tony said, and he put them on. He caught me straight away on them.
So normally you wouldn't share that
But we
information,
do.
but when you do, and of course sharing with the best, that's
I used to go with my brother and Nick Redgate and that to Chisel Beach. And one day, my brother was doing really well for smoothhounds and that. And we got all our crabs that we had and give them all to him and said, get on with it. You know, it does pay not to be.
That's what we've done at Chesil, didn't we? When I caught
Yeah,
the garfish,
that was
me and
it,
Colin caught the garfish. These two
Yeah.
stopped fishing, and we shared all the money. But Colin was second, and I was, or something like that. And we got the money and shared it.
Yeah,
That's
just
what we
give
used
them
to
the
do.
bait
Whereas
and that,
you wouldn't do that in another situation, but we
No.
used to do, and it's good.
it helps not to be selfish, doesn't it?
But we don't hide many secrets in here. I tell people the best I can. You know, we'll always give you
I do
information.
to a point.
Yeah, if you've got a couple of little secrets, you're going to try and keep them, aren't you? But
Well, today I'm not going to say what it was, but
I know we
fish
had a
I
little
caught-
secret today.
Yeah,
And I
just
give it
changed
to
the
him,
bait
I ain't
I
gonna
put
say.
on, and I just couldn't believe it.
And I gave
All
him the
them
bait.
fish come and he gave him some. He had some more.
A secret bait.
And I give him some
Not
more and he caught the
really,
soul.
nothing
I give him
secret.
some more and he caught the soul. Couldn't believe it. I should have done. But it's funny
I
because
wasn't going to catch a dab on it because I poled
Yeah.
got a bit of bait on, yeah.
and welded it all on and that.
Yeah.
It was a big bait, but the bass must have smelled it.
That's one thing you should never do, give your bait away. No, it's good because he was nearly crying for 3 hours. It was great. In a way, I wasn't upset he beat me because basically he stuck at it rather than he was going to go home, wouldn't you? At one
Well,
point,
it's getting
felt
bigger,
like that, you know. So that's the way it is, you know. It's good laugh.
It's a bit demoralising when the pair of us get 25 and 26.
Yeah, we didn't actually have the
The
best
worst 2
picks
pence
today,
in the
to be
whole
honest.
bag.
He was. I did speak to him this morning. He was moaning about it.
Well, I ain't moaning now, look.
No.
Whee.
Yeah,
Loads of
got
money.
an envelope. But I did say, you might fish well because it's not been fished for a while. So, yeah.
Well, that day, talking about the short casting, when you hadn't caught nothing all day, and then you put whatever you did,
Secret bait.
secret bait, and caught that smooth out 4.5 pounds,
Yeah.
and won the whole match.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely right. So, just okay. Right.
We're
Yeah.
sitting-
Question for Gerald. This is from Kevin Cheeseman. What are the benefits of fishing with a fixed spool down the butt?
It's basically it's how I've always, because I used to fish that way with a multiplier, and everybody did with a fixed ball and not a multiplier, and never changed. You couldn't change. I think a lot of the reason is when you come round with the rod, you can move this arm, there, can't you?
Yeah.
Whereas if you've got the reel up, you can't move your arm.
Yeah.
Whereas you can come round and you've got more.
All right.
I'd like to know the stats, but I think technically, if you're down the bottom, you're using more of the rod
Yeah.
But I'd like to know the stats from someone who's not, because
It's
all the long casters are all down the bottom, aren't they?
Yeah,
On the field
they
and
are,
everything.
Yeah, but that's multipliers more than a fixed ball, isn't it?
yeah, but it's.
Yeah.
I think if you're going to field and you're looking to get me distance, I think they put fixed ball down the bottom.
It's so
No,
much
okay.
easier to hold it
Yeah.
on the bottom.
Yeah.
And from reeling in, I find it much easier.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah. Okay. Right, Stevie B says, I'd like to see a 1 mackerel for bait challenge match. It would be interesting to see the outcome.
We have done. I have fish matches like that.
Yeah.
We went to well, there was a holiday they used to do at Aberystwyth every year, and when you turned up, you got 2 mackerel, you've got I think half a dozen packets of lugworm, and that, I think they were frozen, and that was your bait, you know, and you were given that, and everybody was given the same, and it seemed to work very well, but then they changed it.
Yeah, it's a challenge. Everyone's got the same way, I suppose.
But
A lot of guys
don't
really like
use
it, 'cause they like
anything.
to go and dig their
Yeah.
own, you know, a lot of them, that's the difference. Because bait's not cheap nowadays, and they like to dig their own, don't they? You like to dig your own, but
Yeah.
he's been struggling, so I've given him some bait. So
The lug Tony gets, it is beautiful lug, but it's too big. Don't like them. They're too big for me. The lug, I like smaller.
Yeah, we like small ones.
Yeah, smaller, especially when you're catching in little dabs and that. But that's what we think looks nice. Doesn't actually mean the fish think it looks nice, does it?
No, quite. But then, you know, it's with lure fishing, the lures that fish take, you think that doesn't look anything like a fish.
No.
And you put one that looks like a fish on, and they don't touch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't know what it is they see.
It's what it moves as well.
Yeah.
You know, even without a doubt, the Tony McDonald is a very good finicky angler, isn't he? And he said he's really looked into it, and he reckons that amnesia, when it's really crystal clear, it shows up unbelievable. You know, the fish.
Use fluorocarbon.
He said you've got to use fluoro when it's dead clear, and without doubt we do.
Well, we went over to it, didn't we? We done
we do.
a couple of seasons ago.
When it's really clear.
If it's a bit murky, it's all right. If it's dead clear,
to be honest with you, when it's cloudy and the 25, 30 pound amnesia black is lovely, because the black is a lot more stiffer than the white for some reason, and it's very good for at night, the black amnesia.
Getting back to what I was saying, when the smooth hounds come, we found out last year a lot of them come on prawns. And I'll tell you, I did say it, I know, but that's a brilliant tip. Just get a cocktail stick and ram it up. It keeps the bait straight, so it'll cast further. And last year we had quite a lot on. You know, we had a shortage of crab, and they were eating them prawns. They liked them. It was amazing, really.
I had 21 smooth hounds on prawns last year.
Yeah.
I didn't use crab at all, but then, you know, so it's a bit of
Ragman works quite well for them as well.
rag,
It's got the same smell as crab.
And this kind of lends it on to the next question, because has anyone ever gone to get their card marked in a match and their rod has been pulled and lost into the sea? Well, I mean, if the smooth hounds around, it's always going to. You lost the rod.
I caught a smooth hound.
Yeah.
While I'm getting my one signed in, the rod's gone over, and I didn't know what to do. By the time I come back, it's gone. I think what I probably should have done was put the fish down, struck it, and got it on there, and then gone and got it signed.
It's always the benefit of hindsight, isn't it?
But you don't, you know.
You've got to try and leave your drag a little bit undone.
What do you do when the rod's going round and you can't reel it in because you'll get disqualified?
Yeah.
You've got to get your other fish signed before you reel the other one in, so you haven't got any choice.
Yeah. I mean, I have to say that I've got a video of my rod behind me going like that, and then it's a big crash, and then it running down the beach. But I did manage to get to it in time with a smooth hound. I think.
Well, we were up the town by the AA box there fishing for smooth hounds. Me, Tony, and Wes was there, and Tony's got a smooth hound, wants help to measure it and that. And he said, calls Wes. I said, I ain't coming over. So Wes goes over. I had to shout him. His rod's in the rod red.
It's nearly gone.
Straight, it's nearly gone. I said, if you don't come back now, you've got your rod's gone.
Yeah. So I mean, it is smooth hounds, isn't it? There's not a great deal of fish on this shore that's going to do that.
No.
Other than smooth.
No. I mean, it's
big congreel maybe.
They are powerful.
I
them
tend to
screw
try,
nails.
as soon as I catch something, I tend to go straight away and get it signed.
Mm.
I know a lot of people bait up and everything, but at least if you got your fish signed, you can.
Oh, got to mention this tonight. Anyone who ain't got their fish signed, all of them, we don't get in nasty or anything, but it's now getting a bit tetchy and some of the lads getting angry. If it's not signed, you might get your card chucked out. So, not being nasty. I always sign my fish, although I'm sometimes, like today, I didn't put a name on the card, so I got in trouble for that. I forgot, But basically, you've got to sign them fishes.
Yeah, you should.
There's
you
a
can't
few
leave
happenings.
it.
And
No.
on Sunday, they were close to chucking someone who come very high up to fish out. And I said, no, you can't do that. He's not a cheat. But it's got to be done right, I'm afraid. I said to someone, you're supposed to sign it off at the bottom. If one wants sign off the bottom, it's not the end of the world. Although that is the rules. But this not signing the fish, you're gaining extra time by not going over to the guy to sign it. You're sitting there and going over with 3 fish or 4 fish late. You can't do that.
No.
It's cheating, really.
I've had them, they put one in the bucket and don't sign it in, then get another one or two, and then
can't
come
do that.
do
It's
3
not,
then, whereas you can't.
I'm not. I don't think like we're in the World Cup that we go on Sunday afternoons, but you still have to have something.
And on that note, I'm going to raise something that came up when I was doing I did a premiere of the video I put out yesterday, and I was getting a lot of comment about fishing buckets.
Yeah, fishing buckets.
And the suggestion was that people shouldn't be signing fish in if they're not in a bucket.
You're probably correct. I'm not good at it. I tend to grab the fish, whereas because I'm thinking I've got the fish, I sign it in, I put it straight back. Whereas you're mucking about with it, putting it in a bucket of water, getting it back out the bucket of water. But it probably is better, yeah. And on that about fish dying and that, it's not all bad because them fish feed other animals.
Most of them whiting, I don't care
even
what you
if
say,
they die.
them small ones, they're probably not going to survive anyway.
We were down there one day and someone said there was a seal going up and down. He said he's getting air fish that we're going to catch. I said he's not. He's eating the fish you're throwing back.
Yeah, that's right.
He was eating the fish that were in the gully. So, that seal's got a bit of an easy life. So it's not all bad.
I think we're trying our best. At least we're trying to put the fish back.
And what
and
the anglers
put
put
his place
into
back
it.
today. It was 33 centimetres, I think, 32. And I unhooked it nicely and I just put it in the old thing and off it went. Don't know, but felt quite good about putting it back. I was going to take it home for my mate to eat. It was over a pound.
When you think about the fishing, it's not all about the fishing. The mental health side, what you gain from it, and to be honest with you, people's mental health and physical fitness by being on the beach, running up and down, digging worms, you're probably saving the country money in the long run. Because you're fitter and I'm 74 and I can still run up and down the beach.
There is that side. No one thinks for that.
Yeah, no.
The doctors send you down the beach now.
And you are more aware of the environment and things. I sort of remember when all my life, I've often wondered, as kids, we used to go and collect bird eggs, which we were allowed to 50 years ago.
But you wouldn't dream of doing it now.
You wouldn't dream of doing it now. But we used to, the hedge sparrow, and I said to you, why is the hedge sparrow's egg green, whereas the tree sparrows, because you said to me, it's not a sparrow.
Yeah.
And I never knew that.
Yeah, hedge sparrows are done.
So you do learn a lot of things.
Yeah.
And a lot of these younger people would learn a lot through it as well.
It was great to watch Harvey and Tommy fishing side by side on the weekend. Actually, it would have been great to have done a video about it, but I think Tommy's not. He doesn't like to be filmed too much, so
no.
But it'd be good to get him and then little Liam as well, and do something with the 3 of them.
I don't really like it because how you perceive yourself is not how you come across on the.
But you
Yeah.
come across really well on there, Gerald, and you've got a big fan base. Trust
yeah,
believe you have.
that's all right, isn't it?
I mean, I don't know how many people are watching tonight, but they're here because you're 211 people watching this at the moment.
The other
Um,
thing that's coming up, just quickly before you ask the next question, is we've got the go ahead from the Angling Club now for an open day.
Right. Okay.
And
Cool.
I think we want to do it. We normally do it in June.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to come and learn to cast and try the rods and stuff. So I think we're going to do it about April, just before I go on holiday, probably April the 10th. But just to let people know, once it's announced, if that's pouring with rain on that Saturday, you know, I'm sorry if you'd have booked to come down or whatever.
Yeah.
But we're going to do it the
Shift it.
following Saturday when
Yeah.
it's nice.
Yeah.
We've got to abide by the weather, because I
Yeah.
can't put it on a date and find that it's, you know, howling a false 9 gale. You just don't want to do it. And most people won't want to come anyway, would they? So we want a nice day.
Yeah.
But if it's a pleasant day, and then we'll have a match on the Sunday, we'll draw the pegs like we do, and have a match on the Sunday afterwards. It'll probably be in April, but we'll announce it. So.
And Brian Pascal will be there to do a bit of casting with people, will he?
Yeah, I'd like to have spoke to him today, but I didn't.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I was going to put his phone number up. I just looked from a contact just now while you were talking, and I haven't actually got it.
I've got it.
You got it, have you?
Won't be able to see it.
I mean, Brian might be on here. Brian, are you on here? Pipe
He's
up
got a
on that.
lovely smooth cast. I watched him today.
Yeah. No, he's a
Nice.
great coach. Great coach.
Yeah. Some people are good and some are not.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one that could explain it unbelievable was Joe's dad, Bill.
Yeah.
And we struggled to get this pendulum cast to start with. And they used to say, you've got to slow down. And slow down? What do you mean slow down? You just couldn't get your head around it. But Bill went through it with me and Colin, and it clicked straight away. He was very good at teaching.
Right, you ready for Brian's number casting?
Right. Yeah. If hang on a minute. So listen to this. This is Brian Pasc's number. If you want to get a good casting lesson. So Brian Pasc's number is
07870 425 778. Is that a 2?
No, you got it right. 0708
078 no 07870 425 778. Correct, that's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
So your eyes ain't that bad.
No.
Brian's going to get all sorts of strange phone calls now. Right. How's Andrew? He smacked his nose on the till when he was in the shop the other day.
Yeah.
Poor fella.
No, he's okay now. Yeah.
He's all right, is he?
Yeah, bless him.
He sorted me out with all
the stall collapsed, and I think into the shock, and he went down on the counter.
Yeah.
It's not funny, but he.
That was Matt who was next to us today, wasn't it? I remember when he fished his first match last year. I think it was, wasn't it?
What's that?
Yeah, Matt Taylor, that isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it's called himself Sam Squatch Outdoors, so I don't know who that is. Right, Eon Murray. I'm probably pronouncing it completely. Owen Murray. Hi lads, recently bought a Ziplex Match Pro Dreamcast 50/50. It's an older rod. Don't know how old you lads have any history on it. It's 13 feet 8 inches long. Do you know that rod?
It's my own rod.
Sorry?
It's my own rod that I designed.
Oh, you designed it?
2
right,
halves.
okay.
50/50 stands for 2 halves. And if I recall, there was a TF 50/50 or something like that. Terry done a 50/50 rod, and the tip on it was way for up. It was so powerful.
Yeah.
And I said, Terry, if you can make me that butt with a Federation tip,
right,
similar to a Federation action, or I think it might be a GSI tip. You know, very successful rod, lovely, you know, quality rod. I mean, we did make so many of them. They're still out there. Never had any trouble with them. More, not so much like the rods, the 3-piece, you know, fixed ball rods, but cracking rod to fish with. Nice tip on it.
The quality of these Japanese or Chinese ones, they're unbelievable.
You couldn't. I don't think you could make these tips in the UK like they do on some of these rods.
No. So fine, but they're so strong.
And they don't break. They
Yeah.
break. You think they're going to break? Incredible.
And that kind of leads me on to the next question. A question for Tony. I have an Achios Hellraiser and want to buy a Fury as a second rod. Would the Fury with the stiffer tip be a similar rod to the Hellraiser?
It would be similar. I checked it out yesterday. The diameters are different. It would probably go a little bit further than the Hellraiser, but it's a difficult one. It's a similar rod. You and me.
Mm.
I'd have thought that if you were going to step up a bit, maybe get an airspeed or something. You know, an airspeed Achios, or I mean, I've got an airspeed Achios in here that's near enough new, and it's a terrific price, 210 quid, I think. So just be a bit careful, because I don't think the Fury's going to go a lot further than the Hellraiser. Because Hellraiser's almost a Fury with a stiff tip. Almost. But it is different diameters, so, you know.
When you get now, like the newer rods, like we've got the Gravity, and that's 15'4", and it's light. If I went back to a Ziplex that are quite heavy, the older
it's hard
one,
work, you know.
I just couldn't pull it round. It's too heavy. You're right if you're 6'4" and 30 years old, but not when you get into your late 60s, 70s, are you? Them rods, I was never able to pull a 15-foot rod round, but I can with one of them.
They're doing very well in 14-foot fire blade centuries. I've changed a little bit here. We got the long rods, but we've been selling a few more conventional rods again now. But that fire blade's proved ever so popular. Anyone who buys one, they seem to come back and buy another one.
It is a leveler.
A little bit more. You'd have to, you know, you may have to go and have a lesson with that. But really good rod, you know.
It levels the casting up a lot more, doesn't it? Even some of the big casters have said to me, it's quite surprising how far some people get with these long rods and that.
Right, David Sandilands, if there's been a lot of rain, will this affect the water content and the fishing?
Definitely.
Yeah,
100%.
definitely. You don't fish near a pipe
Don't
if it's
fish
been
near a
raining.
pipe.
Yeah,
That
definitely.
You
fresh
can
water
look, the
comes
water's
out,
black,
feels-
you can see it.
Doesn't help too much rain.
No, you definitely don't want to be near a pipe.
Any news on the new BlackRock Competition Surf 2G 14'10"? March.
Yeah. I spoke to him today, actually. He went it was March.
Right.
And he's got another set of rods coming out as well. But I think they're about the same time. Really.
Right, can Gerald please tell Paul Fryer what he did to convert the reel seat on his Sonic HD to down the butt?
I know, you don't want to cut it off because you could damage the rod. So you unscrew the bottom part of the reel fitting off, and then just put string wrap over it, and that's it. And then put another reel fitting on.
Put a reel fitting on down the rod.
Down the bottom.
Yeah.
It actually is quite nice to hold it now and that, to be honest with you. All you've got actually left on there is the actual screwy part of the reel fitting and the top where the reel would have gone under. But all the bottom part of the reel fit, put shrink wrap over it. Yeah. And you can hold it. It's nice to hold it.
And it's a shrink wrap that you heat to shrink it down.
Yeah. It doesn't,
you can spiral and saw it off, but it's at your own risk because they break. They do break.
No, I wouldn't do that. And not only that, if you ever wanted to get rid of it and sell it and up the butt, you can put it back as it was.
Yeah.
I've kept all the pieces of reel fitting. So I could take the shrink wrap off and put the reel fitting back on as it was. Just put another reel fitting on the bottom. Yeah, no problem at all. Steve Kirk cut his off and that, didn't he? No,
I think you all know, but there's a £19 conger caught on Peg 8 from last Tuesday. I put it on the Facebook, some people watching might be interested. Yeah. That's a good fish.
That is a good fish.
And it was a guy called Brian Jackson, and he's, I don't know how old he is, but he's as old as us, I think.
Old then.
There's a good fish. He got it in on
That's the trouble.
Fury.
Now. We go, look at that old angler over there.
And luckily,
and they're younger than us.
And then you realise it's a mirror you're looking at.
He got it in on a Fury, but luckily I sold him a power tip. I said, I hope you had the power tip on there. I don't know how you'd have got it in with that quiver tip on.
I remember when I first started doing them over 50, I was just about 51. my wife laughed at me. Oh, fishing there with the old men and that. But now we're the older ones, isn't we?
Yeah.
You get Brett Green, who can still cast phenomenal distances, fishing there over 50 now.
Yeah. Right, talking about signing sheet for us newbies, can you organise a sheet that explains all the rules to do with match fishing?
Yeah, we should do, shouldn't we? Put it on there, Chris.
Yeah, maybe we should. But if you did come along, the guy next to you, we tell, like, I would know who's next to you, and I'd make sure he looked after you.
Yeah.
Oh, something I must mention. Sorry to keep going on, but I've had a call today from Martin Sherwin, and on peg 20 today, there was stacks of braid, nylon, line. It was awful, he told me. So I said I'll mention it. I don't think for 1 minute it's one of us, because I know Andy Baker's on 18. I'm not sure he's on next to it, because 19's next to 18. But I don't think it's one. I think it might be pleasure anglers, but I can't prove that. But none of us beach anglers, match anglers don't leave any rubbish.
No.
You know, but he said it was really bad. And he told me, I said I'd mention it tonight, because he was on peg 20 today.
In the summer.
And he said it was awful.
I don't think people realise they leave a set of mackerel feathers on the beach, and a dog can come and get hold of it. And the leads I pick up on the beach, they come down from London, they're not probably know all about the etiquette on a beach and that, and they leave stuff, they leave the packages on the beach and that. Barbecues, and it's just terrible.
It's quite sad. I've seen some people picking up on Sunday in the match, and they're voluntary, you know, they just come along and pick up.
When I on
they
that
shouldn't have to do that.
Today, there's beer cans on there.
Yeah.
It's not good, no.
But at least we're
trying
to.
All the plastics go back into the beach, doesn't it? And the worms eat it, then the fish eat the worms, and then we eat the fish, don't we?
We're not all perfect, but we are trying to be
a
lot more, you know, sensible on the beach.
We don't do rubbish. None of us do.
Right, we're kind of coming to the end now. We're overrun a little bit. It's trying to keep it from 7 till 8. Philip Bond, hi Tony and Gerald, best regards from Philip and Lawrence from France. You're still simply the best.
Philip, we used to go to France, to Dunkirk.
He was lovely. He was so helpful.
Brilliant.
He was.
Yeah, brilliant.
So helpful.
I haven't heard it from him for a long time. You have to give me a ring sometime, Philip. Are you good?
Yeah, how are you, Philip?
He was very good company, and he took us out and everything. Took us round the bars, didn't he?
Brilliant.
In that Marlow Le Bar, wasn't it? It was a good host.
Right.
Ask him if he's still got the camper.
Have you still got the camper? You've just asked him.
No, because he came over in the camper before. And we took him up the angling club and stuff like that.
Yeah, right. Unfortunately, anybody that gets involved with me and Tony invariably ends up in the
bar.
Yeah.
We do get criticised for running their matches around the pub.
Yeah.
No, really? Right. What hooks would you recommend for place fishing and size? So what type of hook and what size?
Camazan 2.
Camazan
2.
Camazan 2s.
Yeah.
Right.
Because if you get a big fish, it's not going to break. If you get a smooth out on it, it won't break. It was about a couple of years ago, wasn't it? We went up to Holywell and we were fishing there for smoothhound. Got back down to Langley Point and Joe was there and he actually caught a little ray. And I thought, I can't be doing this. And I went to the point, I lobbed out a 3-hook rig with size 4 Camazans on it, and I got an 8.5 pound smoothhound on it straight away on lob. So, and it's capable of pulling even a size 4.
Just so that you know, they're B940s. They're called.
Yeah.
B940s.
One at the D, but you want the B940s.
The hook Tony does, these match hook, he's good.
They're terrific, but you can only use them once.
Yeah.
The tips, they're mega sharp. The tip.
And if you do manage to
once
get
or twice,
like a Congrel comes along, which he does,
you could be in trouble.
with a Camazan, you will get it in. Alan Yates said to me, Gerald, he said, why would you use any other hook? And that was 40 years ago. And when this is how fanatical some are. Neil McKellar, Tony about me up on this. He used to buy a box of 100 hooks, and he used to go through them and only pick the ones out with had the right size barb on it, because they do differ a little bit.
Yeah.
And because he cast so far, he didn't want them getting off, and he used to pick out, chuck all the rest away.
Yeah.
He was fanatical, wasn't he?
Incredible,
Yeah.
Just
But
like,
that's how serious he
like a computer.
He was.
Brilliant.
Do beads really attract place?
I don't think so.
Attract fishermen, don't they?
Yeah. So if they don't do no harm, red, black
Green
and
ones,
green,
yellow ones, yeah.
but I don't know. They slow, I'll tell you what, I was talking to Joe, they'll slowly cast down a little bit and all.
Yeah.
You might want to relieve that, but bees
I think,
actually just.
You know, like sweet corn, when it goes through the sewerage farm, still looks like a yellow.
Yeah.
And I think possibly that might make a difference.
I mean, you don't ever catch a place just on beads, do you? There has to be bait there.
Yeah,
So,
Jim Whippy though, I talked with Jim Whippy and they used to do these booby beads and they rattle.
Yeah.
He reckons in a boat, dynamite.
Place feed on site them.
But he reckons them rattling booms.
Yeah.
Them rattling beads, they called booby beads. Years ago, they were lovely package, they disappeared. But Jim, when he fished in the England team, he said they swore by them. And they rattled them up. Just made this little. Sometimes it's just scuffing up the bottom, you know. Fish are inquisitive. Scuff the bottom a little bit and they're there.
Yeah.
You don't get placed at night, not big ones, because they don't feed, their site feed.
That's not seen, no.
Yeah. Right, here's a question, and I'm sure you know the answer to this, from Bob Chatfield. Do comps ever come up the Hove Shoreham way?
They do, but we don't. It's different kind of fishing to us.
Shoreham, Mickey Webb runs matches.
Mickey
Webb.
Webb
They've got a league.
And the judge.
They got what's it called? The Meridian Club.
Yeah.
So they do matches at Shoreham.
Yeah.
Obviously we don't want to because we're local here and it's easy for us, you know.
They're very good actually, the Shoreham one. Yeah. They've got one of their chairmen and that he does an article about the fishing match and he's very funny.
Yeah. I don't know if you went to Lagoon Bait and Tackle, they'd tell you about what's going on down that way.
Or prime angling.
Or prime angling,
When we have our league finals and all that, they all like fishing here.
Yeah.
And like Hastings said to me, if we had a venue like you've got, because Hastings has got a lot of rocks and that, hasn't it?
And that was well over £1 that sold. Where would you go and get £1 sold?
In daylight.
Well over £1 in daylight. Massive thing.
Yeah.
Because it was one of them wide ones.
Yeah.
I reckon it's about £1.4. It was a lovely fish.
I reckon that was the fish he caught a couple of years back on the old farts. He's had it in the freezer.
You'd seen the problem.
I don't think so. You'd have seen the way it was rearing up, so it didn't want to be measured.
No, it didn't. It's dinner tomorrow, that is.
Yeah. But that was
it didn't.
That was a cracking fish, you know. And then you had a 37 bass. There's some real good fish down here. It's great fishing, you know. They're not all massive fish, but there's some good fish around here.
Yeah.
Not, I know when I was a kid, catching 25, 30 pound cod was not, it wasn't just, it was quite normal to have one. But
there have not been many cod this year, have there?
No.
At all.
I've had one in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
They get a few on the pier.
I took little Harvey Plumstead out on a boat and he had one. But the luck of the Plumsteads. And we weren't fishing for them. But,
Eastbourne Pier is not a bad pier to fish if anybody wants, and they're very helpful, aren't they?
Yeah. There was a run of cod, wasn't there? Early in the autumn. Yeah.
But they've got all the decking all done round the side.
It's done now, is it?
Yeah, and I don't know if they've got permission yet, planning permission to use it.
Yeah.
Or not. But it's very good now. It's a nice pier to fish, actually.
Right, Gerald, fixed ball down the rod. What finger stall do you use?
I don't. I use the cannon.
Use a cannon, casting cannon.
You've got to use the cannon. Yeah. A lot of people put it on the top of the rod, but I've not really got my head around that.
I've just started trying that. Actually, I like it.
Oh, you do?
Because it's the same as it's your thumb, the same as it would be if there's a multiplier.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I quite like that. But anyway, and I'm always trying something different.
You need to get it in the right place. That's a lot of it. Because you don't really want to have to put two. if you've got it in the wrong place, you have to put 2 fingers round the reel, whereas you only really want to do it with 1 finger.
Right, Philip Bond. Yes, we still have the camper. Practice carp fishing in South France and shore angling in Normandy. So there you
Tell
go.
to come over one day.
Yeah, Philip. Well, we'll come over to you. And
We'd love to
we'll
see
do a
you
video
again,
on you.
Philip.
We'll come down and do a video for the channel.
Yeah.
That'd be cool, wouldn't it? I fancy
We
a trip to France or Normandy. Fishing off the shore of Normandy would be cool, wouldn't it?
Does he still run the shop in France? Like he used
Decathlon
to?
he used to work in.
Oh, he worked in Decathlon, did he?
Yeah, he used to run the fishing section.
Oh. Okay, well, we are coming to the end. It's 8:15 now.
Oh, tell him to say hello to the mayor of Dunkirk.
there's a story there.
There's a story there.
Yeah.
Should never have won that match.
Yeah. Eastbourne Fisherman's just joined us, mate. You're late again. We're just finishing. Right, so I've got any burning questions. Literally the last couple of minutes, and we're going to go. I've got to go and finish off doing me tax returns.
I can go and have my chicken drums.
Right, that's it. No more questions. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed it. It was an educational night. Gerald is the star of YouTube. He's getting identified and been asked for his autograph and all sorts of things now.
The gentleman from Canada come up to
I'll
me.
read what was yours again, Dean? Oh, have either of you snapped a rod on the beach casting out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't. No.
2,
Oh, I had
3,
a tip go on
Oh no, I
on a century, on one of the older centuries.
Yeah.
Apparently that used to happen on the older ones. But
only a couple, I think, I snapped. 2 or 3. My boy's good at it. He snapped a few, yeah. Oh, Chris, he's great at it.
Yeah.
He might be coming on a week or so if you want him to come on.
Yeah,
He would.
that'd be cool.
Yeah, Chris is very good, knowledgeable.
He-
isn't he?
he's knowledgeable as well.
Yeah.
Across the board, carp fishing, everything. So we get him
I
on.
wonder if anybody remembers coming in the shop when Tony and his dad used to be in here.
Yeah.
And I would like to hear that.
Yeah.
The arguing that used to go on.
Oh no, really?
We used to stick stickers on his back. He'd get home to mum. She'd go,
It was a lovely bloke. Tom was
Yeah.
a lovely
Yeah.
oh, we used to put things on it, something on his back.
In this shop, he was a
We'd go
horror.
out, pat him out, and he'd go home. And
He was a horror
said something
in his
like,
shop.
this way up or something.
When you got him on the boat, on a boat on his own, he was brilliant. Really good company.
He hated it in here, so he was a little bit, on a Sunday morning, because he had to do it, he was a little bit rude to people, but he didn't like it. You see my dad out, he's one of the greatest blokes you'll ever meet. But
He used to go
in
out
here,
fishing
hate
in a
everything.
suit and tie.
Yeah.
When he got in the pub, he took his wetsuit off, his
he
flotation
used to have a
shoe.
suit on
It
underneath
looked like
after
he'd
we'd boat fishing
come
the
from a
festival.
wedding.
Brilliant. Big orange flotation suit. He just got, it's like James Bond, and then all of a sudden he's got suit tied and like he's at the bar.
Old school.
Brilliant,
wasn't
wasn't
it?
it? Yeah.
Well, like my dad, they didn't have fishing gear, did they? You used to wear an old jacket, didn't they? Fishing and that. Horse jacket.
Oh, dear.
Christopher Clare, I'm not sure if this is a question or not, but you are always welcome to come in the shop and pick people's brains. It's a friendly bunch in here, and as has been said, the knowledge is, well, it's immeasurable.
You will get help. The people, we will help.
Yeah.
And everybody will.
Yeah.
When I first met Matt, well, it wasn't that long ago, was it? And I said to him, don't get disillusioned.
Yeah.
Don't give up. Just keep at it, because it'll all come good. Like when I first started pumping worms and that, they said to me, don't give up, because you used to go down there with the pump and a spade.
Yeah.
And then after about an hour, you used to throw the pump down and get the spade out again. But you just had to persevere, and within 3 or 4 weeks, you would never go back to it. They used to laugh at me down there with the spade when they first got the pumps and that.
Yeah. And yeah, I watched someone dig in the other, last year, I think, and he was getting a lot of worms.
It looks easy,
Yeah.
but it's not.
I know it ain't. Really hard. I dug my spade out
You
and had
try
another
putting
go.
your arm down or up until your blooming arm
Yeah.
in the winter.
Yeah.
Dungeness last Tuesday.
Sorry?
Dungeness, 2 my dealers.
Yeah.
15 and
Really?
it was just
It's getting very hard at the
soul
moment,
destroying.
but they will come back.
He's got a bit better this week. I've got plenty of lug in the shop, by the way. But he's my digger, who's main digger, who's going to give up. Last week, felt like giving up. And I said, well,
What someone said to me that people don't realise, if you're laying on the beach, you are laying on lugworm poop.
Oh, yeah,
Every bit of sand on that beach has been through a lugworm.
Through a worm.
Not really.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about it, the fish obviously are very sensitive to scent in the water. And
Yeah,
the beach,
so
the
it's
sand
probably
here, off here, must stink of black lug to them.
Yeah, it does.
Which is probably why ragworm doesn't tend to do so well, because they come in and they're just overwhelmed with the smell of
Yeah,
black
but then
lug.
if you went down the coast,
Yeah.
it'd stink of ragworm.
Yeah.
The ragworm all
Something
there.
happened, not last year, I think it was the year before, with the razorfish. They were all dead everywhere, weren't they?
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
And
that
we
was
don't
horrible.
know actually what happened there.
That was something.
They were coming up your line dead. It was awful. I think it was an oil spillage or something. Because when I dug, I could see like oily in the lugworm hole. And something had got in the water.
Right, Big Fish 81, a bit out of your way, but do you know of any club matches Selsey way?
No, I have fished down there.
Yeah. I mean,
the SLO, I suppose, down that way.
Yeah, but I mean, getting
There's
the
an
local
SLO
tackle
league.
shops down there.
If you look up the SLO league, that's down that way.
Right.
And they run that in the evening down there. I think you just got to look for clubs, in your area. So.
Yeah, but I mean, or the tackle shops. SAS, I forget what it stands for, but that's the tackle shop that's down that way.
I fished at Cheddar a lot. Fished loads of matches at Cheddar.
Yeah. Well, this is more Selsey way than Cheddar.
Yeah, I've been to Selsey.
Right. Jason said, quick question to Gerald. What's the one best single tip you can give to beginner anglers?
No, don't give up and make sure your bait is good. Really, don't just go with broken lug. Make it, take a little bit of effort and get it.
Yeah.
Even if you buy it like 3 or 4 days, a week before, it will keep.
Yeah. Is that Jason Scott?
Yeah.
This is stuff here, been donated by John Kitchener. There's a lovely rucksack here, and a really good tripod.
I forgot.
If you can get a chance to come and get it.
Right, Jason.
John Kitchener from Portsmouth area. He's donated it to Jason for the kids.
Nice.
And there's a few bits and pieces in there, a bit of line.
Yeah.
They brought it in today, so welcome to come and get it when you want.
Right.
Or sell it.
Christopher Cleaton, has Tony ever fished the Norfolk beaches?
Yeah, we have.
So, I came, I think in the national final, I think I came second overall. First day of the disaster. This is about 6-7 years ago. On the second day, I came second or third overall in the national team leagues. Norfolk coast.
Yeah.
Brilliant fishing, loved it.
Yeah.
But it's very patchy up there. You
won a pontoon week?
Yeah, I won that.
We've been up pontins loads of times, haven't we?
Yeah. I've won the pier 4 times the pier. I sort of fishing and they said, oh, you don't need to chuck it out. And I thought, I don't know. So the boat went by, so I chucked it over the other side of the river, right against it, and I got a codling. And then I had a double shot of codling. They were right on the bend as the river come round. And one of the matches, my line's gone up the river. They said, your line's gone up the river. And the boat's coming by. He said, what's he got? And he's asking the people as he go along. And I had caught about 5 pounds. That was, what's the name of that? Gorston Jetty, I think it was, yeah. It's a lovely place to fish.
I think, what was it? Kelly, where we fished in the league.
Yeah.
It's only about 5 years, probably 6 years ago now. But
yeah.
I can't be bothered to go anymore. Too old.
Yeah.
But it's very patchy up there, though. In certain places, you'll get fish, and then you won't get nothing.
Yeah.
No matter how good you are, there's no fish there. And you go 50 yards
they
long.
They don't call them snags up there, they call them hefts.
Yeah.
Hefts. Yeah.
Right, Jason says he'll be up Friday lunchtime. Huge thank you. Can you save him 4 packs of lug?
Yeah, will do.
Right, I'm gonna end this now. I'm gonna say good night. Thank you very much for joining us. Thanks for the questions. Stand by for the next one. We will be running more of these. And see you soon.
Lovely. Thanks
I've
very
Good night,
much.
everyone.
my dinner.
Oh, yeah.
Well, sorry about that.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
Oh, yeah, very well, mate. You? That was
Yeah. Do you
beautiful.
want some bait? Or
Yeah, please, buddy.
Yeah.